Hello and good day, I'm Mike Adcock with your worldwide tropical outlook for today, 18 July 2013. Our brief time is 9 Zulu. Do have three areas that we're tracking today. Tropical Storm Cimaron making landfall there in southeastern China. I do have newly upgraded tropical depression between Vietnam and the Philippines. And then a 95W, a little weak disturbance southeast of Okinawa. First up, though, Tropical Storm Cimaron at 9 Zulu. It was 100 kilometers southeast of Shantou, China. Winds 40 knots, gusting to 60, and it is moving to the north-northwest at 12 knots rather. Pressure 1,000 hectopascal. The China Meteorological Administration does have a blue typhoon warning out for Fuijan and Guangdong provinces as the center of Cimaron makes landfall. Looking here at the multispectral imagery, do have somewhat of a partially exposed circulation with this feature, and some of this deep convection is starting to decay a bit, and that's really going to be the story over the next several hours as this continues to move inland. Here's our JMA forecast track, again moving northwest and will be inland shortly. Once it does make landfall, expecting between the land interaction and the increasing shear for this system to fall apart rather rapidly and just be a rainfall threat for eastern China. Of note, though, this is the same area that was dealing with Typhoon Solik from last week, so they've had plenty of rainfall already. They're going to get a little bit more. JTWC's forecast pretty much on point as well, making landfall shortly and then rapid weakening afterwards. Our Dvorak analysis here, JMA right now going with a current intensity of 2.5. That's actually the common theme across the board. Final T there is 2.0, while JTWC and the National Weather Service keeping it at 2.5 based on that half wrap on log 10. The ADT has been turned off, though, due to the close proximity to land. Here's our microwave imagery. Still plenty of 35 to 40 knot winds on the east side of the storm, and those winds are expected to continue to move inland over the next several hours. Mentioning Shantou earlier, 28 degrees, rather warm out there, 82 for those that are using the Fahrenheit scale. Overcast skies, light rain showers. Rain showers really haven't reduced our visibilities too much, still about 12 kilometers. Winds haven't really picked up either, northeast at 4, but we are starting to see that pressure climb down currently to 1,004 hectopascal. Here's our 9 Zulu radar imagery out of Taiwan. Still quite a bit of convection out to sea, and we'll see that continue to track northwestward over the next several hours. And because of that, the China Meteorological Administration, with their typhoon warning, does have a rainfall warning. Right now looking at about at least 100 kilometers from this morning through tomorrow morning, especially over the Fuijan and Guangdong provinces, or the border there of today and tonight. With that said, let's go ahead and focus down south to our new depression. This is being still labeled as 94W by JTWC at 9 o'clock Zulu. The system was centered at 665 kilometers west of Manila. Winds 30 knots, gusting to 45 per JMA. It is drifting slowly to the northeast, and 1,000 hectopascal for our pressure. A little bit of a discrepancy between JTWC and JMA. JTWC is only calling it a low risk area, and to be quite honest with you, I was rather surprised to see JMA upgrade this and go with 30 knot winds sustained. Looking at the multispectral imagery, it is a weak and exposed circulation, very broad, and but that being said, we do have persistent convection that's displaced to the south, and that's where the majority of the winds are. We'll take a look at that in a moment, but first let's look at the JMA forecast. This drifting to the northeast looks like it's going to be short-lived. Long-term track is going to be northwest the official JMA forecast does have it strengthening to a tropical storm by this time tomorrow. We'll see if that actually does pan out. I'll be surprised. Some of the dynamic models that I've been looking at really don't do much with it. GAFS carries it for a little bit as a weak low and then fizzles it out rather quickly. And I would be surprised if it gets its act together in the near term. For our Dvorak, right now only getting information out of JMA with a 1.5 both for final T and current intensity. None of the other agencies are tracking it right now. Do want to point out, though, I mentioned earlier about the microwave imagery. A lot of the winds are displaced well to the southwest in this in the convective bands. Do have 35 to 40 knot winds in a few places, well far away from the center in that convection. As you get closer to the circulation, again, very broad, a little elongated circulation, but only a couple of barbs of 20-25 knots, but really looking at like 5 to 10, maybe some 15. So very weak system, except for out in that deep convection well to the southwest of the circulation. So not your typical tropical storm or tropical depression for that matter. But looking in the long term, sea surface temperatures are rather supportive. Right now about 28-29 degrees Celsius, and that's going to be the case through the track off to the northwest. Looking at 200 hectopascal, not anything major that's going to be helping difluence aloft. Pretty much easterly to east-southeasterly flow aloft, and that's going to be pretty much the track as you get toward China over the next few days. Shear, right now tracking at about 20 knots or thereabouts over the system. There is a pocket of weaker shear to the north, but we're going to see if that actually hangs on and this depression gets a chance at development. And then real quickly want to touch on disturbance 95W. This is really more for grins, very devoid of all convection, just a cute little swirl well off to the southeast of Okinawa, about 660 kilometers. Winds light, pressure's high, and JTWC is really not tracking it. It's just up on the Naval Research Lab website, just tracking this kind of a small, unique feature. That being said, that rounds up our outlook for today. Of course, get all this and more analysis over at the westernpacificweather.com website, or follow along with the play-by-play on Twitter and Facebook, links there below. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day. Take care.